if you just want to please your partner, you've taken yourself out of the equation. And the truth is that any partner worth pleasing is going to want to please you. And in fact, the times when, see, my husband and I are both, I'm so lucky because he would say the exact same quote. We both believe that the very best sexual experience that either one of us could ever have is when the other one is feeling the best they've ever felt.
Ianthe.
Hi.
Hi. I am so happy you're here on The Real Undressed.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you for coming in and having this conversation with me. I have admired you since I met you. And I really, I met you based on a product that you have, right? Which we'll definitely talk about. And we have one here in studio with us going right now. So for those of you who don't know, that Ianthe has this fantastic line and company, Objects with Purpose, right? And if that isn't a powerful statement right there, I'm not sure what is. But yeah, so in your words, I'd love to hear a little bit of your genesis of the product and the company.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, 10 years ago, so this is actually the 10-year anniversary of my business, which feels extremely substantial and grown up. And I say it and I can't believe that's true, but it's true. So a decade ago, I was struggling with autoimmune disease. It was a thyroid disease called Graves, and it made my heart flutter. I had to be on beta blockers 3 times a day to even have a resting heart rate that was below 90.
Wow.
I was losing weight. And here's the funny thing. I've always thought, I just wish I was like 5 or 10 pounds thinner. I mean, as I was growing up, in Orange County, this is what I was always telling myself. And I knew that was just a frivolous thing and I shouldn't. So then when I had Graves' disease and I was losing weight every day, it really freaked me out and it was totally uncomfortable. And so all of that was happening. And what I kept doing was lighting candles to set an intention for myself to be centered and to take care of myself and to learn how to have better self-care, as I was also a mother of 2 very young children and going through a divorce.
That's a few things.
So the candles saved me, which is what then segued into the business. Because through the divorce, I realized, so I've been a completely 100% stay-at-home mom. The most important job. I loved it. I wanted to keep doing it. But I also knew as I looked into my future of not being married, that I needed to create something for myself that would sustain me and my family financially. So I wanted to create a business, and I had I've always felt entrepreneurial. I was that kid with the cash register playing store in her room my whole life. So I needed a business. I was lighting candles every day and asking the universe and saying intention and manifesting what's next for me and how can I sustain my family. And that's when I went, well, it's right here in front of me. It's the candles, because I found out all these candles are toxic that I'm lighting. And I was dealing with autoimmune disease and children and a dog. And I didn't want that in my home and my environment, but I didn't want to give up beautiful candle lighting. And that's where it clicked. And I said, okay, this is what I'm meant to do. And I created Objects with Purpose.
This is, these are like so many great things get born out of crisis.
Yeah.
They really do. And I'm interested though, you had a practice of candle lighting. Was that something that's just part of a spiritual practice? Or, let's go back. When did you either wake up to what one might call spiritual, and how did candle lighting become part of that for you?
I love that question. I was born into a very bohemian spiritual family. My mother's a choreographer and flamenco dancer. My father is a composer and poet. And so candles were always in my home. And it wasn't just that they were in my home to make the home pretty, because it was beautiful, but it was used always in ceremony. We always had an altar in my home. And an altar would have on it at any given time loved ones who'd passed. It would also have on it people who we'd never met, but in history who had died, who somehow we felt a kinship to, a relationship to, or wanted to feel their energy around us. So all of that was going on, and it was completely normal. And I thought when I went to other people's houses, well, where's their altar?
Interesting.
That was normal to me because that's how I grew up.
Yeah.
We also, I was so grateful for this. I had a very short time doing this, but I was able to go to a Waldorf school, which is this Rudolf Steiner education, when I was really little. So it was preschool through second grade. And there was a ritual at the school, if you can imagine, at snack and lunch every day. The teacher would light a candle and all of us would say a blessing over our meal.
Wow.
To the candlelight.
Wow.
And so again, this was normal to me. Doesn't everyone light a candle and say a blessing? And then in research that I've done since then, I realized, so my answer to you is it really started as soon as I was born. But what I found later is that it's not just my family, and that there's a ritual of candle lighting across all cultures of the world. It's in all of our DNA. I'm really quite obsessed with it, quite honestly. And you can talk to anyone from any religion, any spiritual bend, and they will tell you some relationship to candle lighting that focuses intention for them or blessings or prayers.
Absolutely. I mean, I was raised, the Jewish tradition.
Right. And I'm half Jewish, so I had that too.
Right. And I don't consider myself religious, and yet I've come back to this practice. I offer a monthly Shabbat, which is the Jewish, Sabbath, dinner. And we do the lighting of the candles, right? And the wine and the bread. And there is something so beautiful about taking that moment to set the intention, to call in some light, right? And have the candle as the symbol. I mean, I see it as a symbol of light.
It is definitely a symbol of light, and it's also physically light. And if you think about it this way, what separates us from other creatures, animals, mammals, there are many things that separate us, but I'm going to tell you one big one that means something to me, is that we can control fire, that we figured out how to harness fire and use it for all sorts of things. I'm not going to give you the list of all the things we use fire for, but it goes way back. And that's why I say it's in our DNA. And also, there was a practice in my home, I guess you could say a spiritual practice, and I also thought this was normal, and doesn't everyone do this, of surrounding yourself in light at all times when you leave the house, when you get into a car, when you're going to and fro, when you're feeling any sort of discomfort or fear or anxiety, you surround yourself in white light. I was trained to do this my entire life by my mom. And so it's this natural thing, like I just did it and I just did it to you. So now we're both surrounded in light. I do it all the time when I'm thinking of my children who are now don't live with me anymore. They're at that age on their own, and I can just go, yeah, now they're surrounded with light. So there's another connection, and that candle lighting is another reminder of that protection of surrounding each other in light. So that's another spiritual connection to the candle for me.
So I'm fascinated by this. I certainly did not grow up like this at all. And I'm sure many listeners did not grow up like this either. And how do you feel? And I know you said, hey, this is normal to you. So it's like if you ask a fish, like, what's it like to swim in water? They'll be like, duh.
Hard to describe because I just do it.
It just is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm curious, though, have you recognized now, just as, in adult years, how your upbringing did shape your sense of connection with the world and community and people?
Oh, definitely. I would say that it allowed me, having that kind of background, and just having the name Ianthe, which, by the way, there's something, my parents giving me the name Ianthe was in some ways a challenge, but I always say it's a gift because, like the habit of putting light around us, like the habit of candle lighting and all those things that I grew up with, it's enabled me to go in and out of all sorts of social circles and feel like I'm seen and heard.
What does your name mean?
It means, it's an ancient Greek goddess of feminine virtues and the violet flower.
Wow.
And purple's always been my favorite color since before I understood the meaning of my name. It's ancient Greek. But really it was found in a Percy Shelley poem called Queen Mab, which is about the queen of the fairies coming down to the planet Earth and taking the spirit of the child Ianthe sleeping off the couch to the heavens to show her the creation of the world and universe.
Wow.
And bringing her back into her body so that she could awaken with wisdom. This was what I was given. And I've had people ask me, they say, when I explain that, when I'm asked about my name, and they say, whoa, isn't that a lot to live up to? And I say, well, there's really nothing to live up to because I am Ianthe. So whatever I'm doing,
Yeah.
it's sort of like back to the, doesn't everybody do that?
It's so funny. Again, people's reactions, of course, are our own individual stuff. Mm-hmm. Right. So whoever says that, I think that's their own perspective on, ooh, wouldn't that be a lot? It's fun. I mean, just looking at you and being with you.
It's not a lot.
No, and like looking at you and being with you, and the times that I have been with you, you do have a very like fairy angelic, quality about you. Yeah, there's like this otherworldly connection, that you do carry in your physicality and in your energy.
Wow, thank you. I've been told that before, and I just want to say thank you because I don't know. That's not manufactured, and I don't practice that, and I don't know where that comes from. But I think the intention that my parents brought me into the world with is probably where that was originated.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Beautiful.
And I love people, and and that's the other thing, back to what it's been like to be out in the world and with this kind of a background. I'm interested in people, and I'm interested in what other people feel and what drives them. And And I lean in a lot to other people.
Absolutely.
And I get something back from that.
So when you connect with people, and certainly over this decade, you've connected with lots of people around the candles. Mm-hmm. What do you find when people start using them, or, they create their own practice, and maybe it's the first time they've started to create a conscious practice of lighting candles? What's some of the feedback that you've had that's been really memorable of what shifted for people in their lives?
Wow, I have one. Okay. I have friends who live in Paris, and they were unable to have children of their own. Mm. And they're very much in love, and they wanted to have a family. I was really at the very beginning stages. This was over 10 years ago, and I was just in the very development of the idea of having a candle company. And they came to the United States because they cannot adopt a baby from birth in Paris. It's not possible. I don't know if that's changed since then. It's been over a decade.
Interesting.
But at the time they couldn't, and they just wanted a baby from birth. So I said, you know what? We're going to bring that baby into the light. We're going to make it happen. So they were here. They were meeting with a lawyer so that they could try to find, be on a list so that they could adopt a baby. And there were some issues for them because many of the women here who are giving their babies up for adoption at birth, they don't want them going across the world for whatever reason.
Interesting.
Apparently, that's what they were told. They said, this is going to work against you. I would think and be like, great, right. My baby's going to Paris.
Right.
And they're both doctors, by the way. Can we just start? I mean, what better life can you offer for a child? Anyway, that was apparently something that could be a roadblock. So we did this thing, and I said, we're bringing your child into the light. And we even did this gesture over the flame, which we do at Shabbat, where we did this over the flame. And they got a phone call the next day from the lawyer saying that their baby, that they were chosen with this woman for their baby. I'm now the godmother of that baby. He's a beautiful kid. And it all worked out. But to them, to answer your question, they felt, and they said to me, because I did not want to there are these magical coincidences, and I love seeing them, and I love saying that they're magic. But I also don't want to have the ego around it where it's like, I made that work for you. I made your baby come because I did this in the light.
Right.
That's not real for me either. So what they said to me was so profound. They were crying. They were saying, you brought this baby into the light. And I said, no, thank you. But this baby was there all along. Your intentions, the way that you focused the energy on what you wanted to bring into the world, and did that on the flame of a candle, that's what made it happen. So that was a huge transformation for them. I mean, that's life-changing.
Yes.
On the wish on a candle.
Yes. Well, and I love that you said that you had the wherewithal, and the understanding to say, hey, it's not me, necessarily who did this. It's not necessarily the candle that did this, right? But it is a combination of focusing that intention. And I think you and I are very similar in saying that we believe everything is energy.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. And
absolutely.
And our minds are one of the most powerful things.
Yes.
And so when we can connect that to intention, and we can connect that to our desire, right? Like all of a sudden there is a ripple effect in, the space and time continuum.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. And I say that the candle is a delivery system for your wishes, prayers, intentions.
Yeah,
It's a delivery system.
absolutely.
But the power is the energy that you're putting into it.
Yeah. And you're making me think also of the feng shui master I studied with for 10 years, who always said that the most potent part of any of that you do is your intention.
I love that because I often am completely messing up my feng shui. But the intention's always good. So that's good. So if the toilet seat was left up, but my intention was that things aren't going flushing down, then I'm good, right? I love that. That takes the pressure off.
Yeah.
Good.
Intentionality, and then combine it with something tangible. That's like, that's where we really make some impact in our lives. Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm going to take a hard right here, let's go and segue into the fact that not only are the candles fabulous, and they smell great, and you have how many different, I don't know do you call them flavors?
Over the years, I call them scents or fragrances,
okay.
or scent stories. We have 14 that we've developed over the years. I say we, the truth is I have, but I actually
it's the proverbial we.
I know. I have so many people that help me in my business that I have to always say we, but the scents are very personal to me. So 14, and I'm doing something new that I just started to talk about. And it's that I've realized that there's more power in focusing on the best 6 in my line. And I'm going to start taking away and just end up with 6 and have a signature line. And then we'll be doing some little limited edition runs of the others in the 14. So don't worry, people, if you have one that you love and it goes away, it could come back, definitely. But yeah, so 14 and we're going down to 6.
Wow. Okay. I want to say not slimlining. I don't even know what that word is, but
Well, I'm just focusing. And I keep using the word simplify in my life these days.
Yeah.
And it's a theme for me. And the more that I simplify, the more room I have to be of service to other people, the more room I have to take care of myself. And there was a time there when I was creating that it's like I'm in creation mode and I want another scent and another scent and another packaging and another offer and another. And I'm exhausted from all that. And I think everyone else is too. And really, trust me, the 6 that I'm going to be keeping, there's one for you in there out of the 6. And you don't need to choose from 14. I'm just going to tell you right now.
Yeah. Well, and pun intended. It's like, if those 6 light you up.
That's right. Believe me, they do. Yeah.
So, okay. So we've got these different scents and they're all natural.
Yes.
And you can use them as massage oil, correct?
Yeah, they're extremely sensual. And, it's not on brand of Objects with Purpose to talk about the sensuality of my candles, but the truth is it's always a wink at every time that I'm in an in-person event. I'll have someone come up and I say, I have a registered trademark, the wearable candle. And people used to make jokes like, what do you mean? You wear it on your head? Is it on a necklace? No, you can actually rub it all over your body because the fragrances we use are skin grade and they're manufactured in the USA in laboratories where scientists have worked on what is safe and healthy for your body. And they are in the wax that we use is 100% vegetable and it's 90% coconut, which is everyone knows the benefits of coconut at this point. When I first started, I was telling everyone, and these are the great benefits of coconut. And now it's like everyone can tell me. But coconut is amazing on your body. And the other thing about the coconut in a candle is that when you light the candle, it has a lower melting point. So if you're used to traditional, like you do, people, you probably have listeners who've done some sex play or heard about it with candles and they can get burned. Paraffin, which is a petrochemical, I don't personally want anywhere near my body or smelling it, but also it's really hot.
Really hot.
And there are people who have showed me scars.
Yeah.
At these events where they're like, wink, wink, I can do it like this. I say, no, you're not going to get a scar though from mine. They actually will burn, and when you first light the candle, it will get liquid at 100 degrees. 100 degrees is a soothing, lovely thing to put on your body. It's fine.
Sure, so we can go into saunas like that.
Exactly.
Or hot
You
tubs.
can pour it directly on. Now, I will say this as a cautionary thing, disclaimer, we're dealing with open fire flame here. So if you do leave it lit for several hours, it'll go above 100 degrees. But if you're interested in using it sensually and you want to do that and you want to play with it all over your body and with your partner, you can do that when it first gets liquid. And it's only 100 degrees. In fact, yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that. I just touched it.
Yeah, Ianthe just put her finger. We've got one burning in the studio.
I love actually doing it on my neck and décolleté.
I'm going to do that. Hold on.
And because coconut is an antioxidant and they say it's also anti-aging, so apparently it's good for our necks and our chest and
yes,
that lovely French word I just used, décolleté.
Here we are rubbing our
we're rubbing
our décolletage in the
wearable candles
in the Mojo studio here.
Yes,
it does feel really good.
Isn't it lovely?
Oh my God, it feels.
It's
really
not greasy.
Good.
It's like the best moisturizer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget that you can just do that for yourself. It's funny.
Exactly.
I mean, like, you don't even have to have a partner to do that. We can just do some self-care, have a bath, right? Be burning one of these candles.
Oh,
this is good because, of course, this is all about elevating the conversation around
let's
spirituality.
Take our voices down a little bit lower now.
And now we're in the lounge.
Okay. Let's switch gears.
But so I love, of course, I think it's so cool that this product, right, can be straddles, again, pun intended.
The fun image, okay.
Yeah, the, spirit side of the street and the sex and sensual side of the street. And I really appreciate you being here overall. And I appreciate you being open and generous, with yourself. Because one of the things we chatted about right before we started was a little bit about your history. And I would love to talk about this simply because, as you know, it's one of my passions, which is supporting women, of course, in stepping into the fullness of themselves and particularly their sensual power, what I've called mojo over all these years, and feeling really good about being in our bodies and in our own skin. And whether you want to share that with somebody else, great. But certainly having that kind of sexual connection with ourselves. But you and I share a very similar experience because the first time that we both had sex, we were raped, right?
Yes.
And, and there's nothing one can say about it except it's devastating. And I hope nobody ever has to go through that again, which I don't know if that'll happen in our lifetime.
And statistically, we're not alone.
At
not
all.
even close.
No.
And I'm sure so many people listening have had a similar experience.
Absolutely. And that's,
So what do we do with it?
Right. So, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, and why, frankly, I started the work that I do, and I shifted from, full-time feng shui consulting to the work that I've been doing the last 11 years now, is because the one thing that I saw a need for, it wasn't addressed in these situations, was about getting back into our bodies. There's a lot of opportunity, for the emotional part of the trauma, the psychological part of the trauma, but how about getting back into our bodies? And so share with us about some of the things or what worked for you to get to a space of being a woman who now is in her body and is rocking it in her personal life and her professional life.
Thank you. I want to start by saying that you're so wise to talk about being and getting into your body and back in, because for anyone who's experienced any form of physical abuse, in order to endure it, you do leave your body.
Yes.
You leave your body. In my case, I left my body. So it was how I lost my virginity, which is not how I saw it at all. And I had a very traditional idea in my mind of how I was going to lose my virginity. I knew what I was going to wear. I knew what he was going to look like. I knew what he would say. I knew I would be in a committed relationship. I actually thought, if I think back and I'm being really honest, I did think I wouldn't even have sex until I was married. And I came from, like I said, very bohemian, very loosey-goosey family on many levels. And I just have had this kind of, that was just, I just saw this romantic thing that I guess I had learned in fairy tales. And I don't know. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So when that didn't happen and I left my body, I decided, I remember very clearly that after it happened, I came home and I didn't tell anyone. And I said, I didn't lose my virginity that way, and I'm reclaiming it. I was 14, and I had the most powerful mind that when I said that, that did not happen. I will not accept that was the way I lost my virginity. And then I was terrified that I might have AIDS. This was in the 80s.
Yeah,
so
me too.
And so I thought, or pregnant.
Yeah.
And I wasn't, thankfully, any of those things. However, I had made such a commitment to myself that had never, I didn't allow that. That wasn't my choice. That's not what happened. That when I was then later, so here I was 14, that happened, right? When later I was hanging out with a girlfriend and we were in our 20s and we were laughing. She's just hilariously funny. And she was talking about her first time. And it was this really funny story. We were both laughing. And then she just stopped and said, "What was your first time again? I forgot." And we were both laughing. And all of a sudden, this thing happened in my body. I came back in. That part of me that had left at 14 had never, ever dropped back in until that moment. And she dropped in and I started crying hysterically. I'm crying a little now telling you.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh my God, I don't remember. That's the thing. Because as I was dropping back in, I had so left when that had occurred that I couldn't remember. And that's what got me crying. And she said, okay, hang on. We're going to go through this. We're going to go over this. We're going to get there and you're going to remember. So when I finally remembered, it was a few things and I was mad and I was sad. And then I luckily had a great therapist at the time. And I came into her with this and I said, wow, guess what I just remembered? Whoa. And meanwhile, if we back up a little bit, I do want to say that I'm proud of myself for doing this. But when I got to an age where I felt that I was in a safe relationship, I chose to lose my virginity, in quotes, to that particular person. And that person was very kind. And I did it exactly the way, I orchestrated it exactly the way that I'd always pictured as a child, that I had seen that happen. And I remember years later, after this occurred, and I remembered, and I was getting back into my body, and I was in my 20s, I was so nervous, but I called him because I felt very guilty that I had lied to him, that he had not actually taken my virginity, or I had not given it to him. And it wasn't this beautiful story. It was actually that I kind of felt like I'd used him for a healing moment for myself, and I'd lied to him.
And so what age did that happen?
That was in my 20s, like late 20s.
Okay, so you had this moment when you were 20.
When
you
I had
this
the moment of
remembering.
all of it flooding back and remembered that how I'd lost my virginity by being raped by a 26-year-old man.
Right.
I then, I just felt like all of it came back, and then that's when I realized I have to make amends. I have to say I'm sorry. I lied to this other very nice boy who was my age, who was appropriate to be with, because I had told him that I lost my virginity to him. Okay,
so that moment, but this boy, so you were what, 16, 17, like
when I lost my virginity in quotes, the way that I had planned,
right.
where I was in control, I was 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was prior
Probably
to
almost
the remembering
17,
of
16. Yeah.
Got
Oh
it.
yeah, I had no memory of
Okay.
it. No.
Okay.
But I still felt badly because I realized that was a lie. So I went back. But that's part of getting into my body.
Yes.
And coming back. So I had to apologize to him. I had to do a lot of rebooting. I also wrote a monologue which detailed the rape episode in every detail. And I went through it. And this was with help of a therapist and also a writing group that I was in at the time. That was extremely cathartic. And then I did the thing that was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. I shared it with my parents.
Yeah.
That was so hard because I wanted to protect them from knowing what had happened to me.
Yeah.
Because I knew they would not have wanted their daughter to have had that experience. Just like I don't want my children or anyone I know to have that experience.
Yeah.
And I wanted, part of my denying that it ever happened was to protect other people, not just me.
Isn't that interesting? I mean, the burden that we carry at such a young age
Yes.
to protect,
crazy.
adults and grown adults. Because, I didn't tell anybody for about 6 years. And it's very similar. When I was in college, I was in film school and I ended up making a short film about it, which was when I got to break my silence.
Powerful.
Right? And so cathartic.
Isn't
right?
it crazy? And then going over all those details.
Yeah. But there's something about the writing and all that is, and I think can actually be a spiritual process, right? But
Yeah.
So thank you for your honesty and your vulnerability and sharing all that, because I
Absolutely.
know that there are people listening who also have not said anything about some experience.
And I want to say, if you are listening and that is you, I know it's yucky and messy and some ways painful, but it's also so good to just let it out. And otherwise, there's stuff that's, you don't need that toxicity in your body. It does. Look, I had thyroid disease, which was a physical lump in my throat. I was not speaking something. That is the throat chakra that's our voice. As women, we tend to have more thyroid disease than men. I think we end up we're shutting down our voice.
Absolutely.
It's part of just the way culture has been. It is not that way anymore. My daughter, I'm telling you people, it's not that way anymore. Okay. There's no excuse anymore. You do not need to develop thyroid disease. Let it out. There's so many safe people to talk to about anything that you've been through.
And so once that you did share it at that time, what was that like in terms of your own confidence and your own reclaiming of sensuality and sexuality?
Well, I remember that all of a sudden, so I realized that I'd been doing something, which was, I was always told that I was a really beautiful girl. I was an actress and I would play the ingenue. And there was a part of me that felt uncomfortable with that. Every time someone would say, "You're beautiful," I didn't want my currency to be my beauty and my looks. I wanted my currency to be my heart and the way that I relate to people, my ability to be empathetic. Those are the things I wanted. Virtue. I wanted that to be my currency. So I was uncomfortable with it, but partly because of the experience that I'd had in how I'd lost my virginity and how I thought men looked at me. And so I think that after I came to terms with all that and let it out, I started to realize it's okay for me to look fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Yes.
How is that hurting anybody?
Exactly.
But I say that, and it's like, I remember so clearly how uncomfortable that felt for so long. I mean, I wouldn't wear high heels. I'd never show cleavage or legs because that was traditionally what I thought was supposedly sexy. I've come to realize I'm really sexy. I don't have to show any of those things. And you can. Everybody has their own way. It's what you feel. What is it to you that feels, because you're not doing it for someone else. When you're doing it for someone else, see, if I were all of a sudden showing cleavage and legs and highest heels ever, it'd be for someone else, because for me, that's not comfortable. Mm-hmm. And when I look at myself like that, I feel like, okay, I'm playing a character, but that's not me. I've tried. I had friends who would say, you just need to wear something more clingy. You need to show your body. You have this great body. You don't even show it. And I would try it for a minute and I'd look in the mirror and I'd go, ugh, this is not me. And I love when women who own that and can look, I'm like, you are beautiful, lady. But it's just that's not for me,
Unless it's maybe role play night.
Yeah, which, funny enough, so my husband now, so I'd been through divorce, and I'm married to the love of my life. He was my first boyfriend in high school, and I am so attracted to him. It's crazy. He'll be so embarrassed that I said that. He won't want to listen to this, but he knows it. I'm like, oh my God, you're so cute. Constantly. I mean, I'm really like, wow, he's just everything that is sexy to me. However, yeah. We don't role play. And what's funny about that is because we both met in drama class and we're great at role playing. We did tons of improv together. But what's so funny is sexually, both of us have looked at each other. We just start laughing if we start to do role play. We break character. It's like, there's no fourth wall here we can handle. I'm sorry, drama people. If you're not a drama person, if I say too many geeky drama things, that's just what I do. But my husband and I have a lot of fun being absolutely authentic, and our physical connection is so spiritual.
Say more about that.
Okay, so I always thought, well, what does it mean to have like an elevated sexual experience that's spiritual? I don't understand. I would think that, And then I was with my husband, and there was a time when we were having this we were just making love, and it was like lasting a really long time. We were just in each other's arms, and everything was moving, and our bodies were just in this incredible harmony. And we had this music going it's this kind of post-rock, poetic kind of music that's a little bit strange. And And somehow both of us had this experience where we left our bodies in a really good way, and we were like floating together, and it was so intense. It's really hard for me to describe in words, but it was so spiritual and physical at the same time. Wow.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. And I thought, okay, now I understand that you can have a sexual spiritual experience. And we can't, if we try to replicate that, we don't get it. Mm-hmm. We don't get there. It comes when, pun intended, it comes when we're really in sync and we're both really there for the other person. We're being really generous.
Yes.
And we're also allowing, like, we don't stop for like, oh, there might be something smelly going on. Maybe, oh, I didn't shave my legs, or my hair is looking funny in my eyes, or none of that enters, because you've transcended to a place where you're really in a sync with the person on a much higher level. Again, it's hard to put into words, but you're not there in that physical kind of messy space. You've transcended it, and you're in this sync, in this dance. It's incredible. And I've only had that with him.
Mm. And when that happens, because I have had gratefully experiences like this, which it's, oh my God, delicious.
It can be had, everyone. I promise you.
Absolutely. And so are you like conscious of it while it's happening?
Not entirely.
Yeah.
That's part of it too. Because once I do get conscious and like, oh, this is amazing, then I'm back to, shoot, my leg is itching me. And
which I think is such a testament to like, get the fuck out of our heads.
Exactly.
Literally.
That's what it is. That's actually what I was looking to say, is you have to get out of your head.
Yeah.
And it's really about all the senses, right? So you're there and you're in your senses and you're in that moment.
Yes.
And you're not judging it and you're not questioning it and you're not looking at it. You're just in it.
Yeah. You're like fully on that ride.
Which I guess is the be here now. It's
I
like
was
the profound,
just
right?
Say that. Yes.
It's be here now. It's be here now.
Yeah, it's really being in the moment. Yeah. And I love also what you said in terms of being generous. It's like it's putting that attention on your partner and having generous sex, which, look, everybody out there knows I'm very committed to being pleasured and, having a partner please you, but it's a two-way street.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. It's really a two-way street. And so to have that kind of generosity, what do you think that takes? Because it does take something to truly be in that space of generosity as a lover, as a sex partner, and during the act of sex.
Yeah. So there's a difference between wanting to please your partner and generosity.
Yeah. Say more about that.
And the difference is that if you just want to please your partner, you've taken yourself out of the equation. And the truth is that any partner worth pleasing is going to want to please you.
Say that again. That's a fucking tweetable.
Any partner worth pleasing is going to want to please you. Mm-hmm. And in fact, the times when, my husband and I are both, I'm so lucky because he would say the exact same quote. We both believe that the very best sexual experience that either one of us could ever have is when the other one is feeling the best they've ever felt.
Compersion. Do you know that phrase?
No, what is that?
Compersion.
Oh, that's nice.
It's when you get pleasure from someone else's pleasure.
Oh my gosh, that's my tattoo. See, I have no tattoos because I haven't found one.
Compersion.
I might have to get that. That's good. I like that.
It's a great word. And yeah, look it up. The full definition.
Maybe we need a candle named that.
Ooh,
that's a good one.
That is a really good one, frankly. And maybe it'll be like a limited, run.
Let's talk about
it started
that
here.
No, but I love.
What's that going to smell like?
We'll talk. I love that. I love that. That's so beautiful. Yeah. So that's it. Generous is not about. It's not self-serving, and it's also not self-deprecating. It's really nourishing.
Yeah. I love that word. It's a great word for it. It's nourishing. And how long have you been married?
Well, our anniversary is this month, 9 years.
Oh, beautiful. I think I haven't had I've had long-term relationships, right? But I haven't gotten to 9 years. And I think there's something powerful, right? Each year as you continue on with the same partner. And, the depth, and I'm interested to hear about your experience with this, the depth of, again, spirit and sex that can happen with a partner, and share with us a little about your journey in that
I am
way.
a serial monogamist. I've told this to people before. That's what I call myself, because I believe that I do my best work when I'm with one partner for a long period of time, and I commit myself. And in fact, in my first marriage, I was with him for 20 years.
Oh.
We were not married for 20 years, but I was with my first marriage, who's the father of my children, for 20 years. So even though that relationship, I was not awake to myself or my sexuality, I denied a lot of parts of myself, but I still knew there's always been this overlying thing in me that even though it's hard, I believe that I do my best work when I'm working with one person. And so luckily I found my right person eventually. And it was actually going back to my original first boyfriend when I was 14. So my husband, even though we've been married 9 years, we've known each other since we were 14 years old, which was the year that I lost my virginity to rape. So there's a lot to that. And I would say that the reason I call myself a serial monogamist, and that I obviously, I feel good about that, it's a choice, because it's not the easiest. There are a million temptations. I mean, I was an actress, and I was considered a pretty girl, and I had a million opportunities, right? And it's funny, I was never tempted, because even though I would feel flattered, or I would feel little titillations, or I'd feel like, oh, I'm feeling something in my body when that person says that I'm beautiful, or they look at me that way. But I never wanted to actually be intimate with another person other than the person that I have chosen to be in partnership with in this lifetime. And so, like I said, I'm so grateful that through the thyroid disease, through discovering, through falling and coming back into my body, I found my husband, who I call my twin flame. I'm so grateful, but it's definitely not for everyone. And I don't judge if you feel you learn the most from having multiple partners. That's completely valid for you. For me, it's not. And so we have to be, I'm not a prude, like, okay, you got to find your one partner. But I will say I just feel it's my thing in this lifetime. I'm committed. I am a committed person to pretty much everything I do. I've been told with this, the year of the dog, and we're very loyal in the Chinese calendar.
Yes.
That's my comfort zone.
Well, and what you're speaking to also is something I'm super passionate about, which is know thyself.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So you know yourself. You know, this is the way that I thrive. And and you said no judgment about what anybody else is doing. This is what works for me.
Exactly.
And you're living congruent to that, which is, I mean, I think a testament to why so many things do work in your life.
Thank you.
I want to go back to, you said though, that you feel like you're twin flames, and so define that for us in the way you would talk about a twin flame.
Yeah, so this was explained to me by a healer that I went to when I was going through my thyroid disease and divorce, and she said that there's a flame, and it's violet in color, which drew me in right away, because I told you I love purple, and my name is also a violet flower.
Yes.
And she said there's this violet flame, and souls are created in this violet flame on this other dimension, and I love all this. It's fun for me. You can't prove or disprove it. But it feels really good to think about. So there it is, and you're on this other dimension. And at the time when that flame happens, there are two souls, and then they part, but they're always connected by that source of where they were created in that original flame of violet. And so she said everyone has a twin flame, and most people walking on the earth today, their twin flame is in spirit, so that they'll get with other people in this lifetime and say, that's my soulmate. And you can have many soulmates, but you can only have one twin flame. And you'll know many times, because the twin flame's in spirit, you always feel like you're just that person that feels right to you is just out of reach, and you know they're there, but somehow you never really meet them, and you make do with wonderful people, but you just don't have that sense of home entirely. But when you meet your twin flame, it's undeniable, and it's often hot and hard and difficult. It's not the easiest thing, because twin flames in the same lifetime who drop in at the same time in body bring with them extraordinary challenges, because through fire and in alchemical way, we create and destroy. And so it's not for the faint of heart. You don't necessarily want to find your twin flame in this lifetime. When you do, you better be ready, because it's undeniable.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. And do you think that people who are twin flames, that means they come back as a romantic or intimate relationship? Or
she said they do. I don't know. Her distinction was that soulmates are not necessarily romantic, and that twin flames are always.
Oh, interesting.
That's what she said. Now, I again can't be proven or disproven.
Yeah.
But when something just rings true and it's fun and you just go with it.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting, because I always talk about also, if it resonates in your body, right? The thing that I constantly am like banging on the drum of, hey, listen to your body.
Pay attention to that.
Yeah, because the body knows.
Absolutely, people.
Yeah, our body has the information.
Yeah, and our mind will try to trick us and tell us it's not true.
Get the fuck
That's
out
why
of our
trust your
head.
gut. Like, I mean, we all know those times.
Yeah.
We all have stories of that. Oh, I should have listened to my gut.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Thank you. I could talk to you for hours and hours and hours.
Thank you.
However, we're going to there are 2 signature questions.
Okay.
And there are many answers to these questions. So the first one is, when it comes to tuning in, right, to spirit, what is one thing that will consistently tune you in?
Surrounding myself in light. Yeah, it always does. Which I think is a form of meditation.
Yes.
I've learned later. You know, it's been a muscle I've exercised my entire life. So I didn't really dissect it and what it meant and where it came from. But it is, when I've done guided meditations or any form of meditation, and I've tried many different forms through my life, I don't do it consistently, I would say. However, I do, because I surround myself in light all the time and people that I love. And it does require, it's a moment, but it requires a centering and a connection to spirit for sure.
Yes. Oh, beautiful. And of the many things, what is one of the things that will consistently turn you on?
My husband. Seriously, that's it. Like, it's ridiculous.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It really is. It's embarrassing how much he turns me on.
I was going to say, don't be embarrassed by it. That's like so delicious, and how wonderful that.
No, literally,
that is.
He gets embarrassed. So on his behalf, I'm feeling that right now. But I am, I look at it's a glance. It's seeing him from the walking away, doing a mundane task. It's literally, it's so true. And I never thought I would have that. I never thought, this is such a weird thing to say, but I actually would tell myself for years that it wasn't important to be attracted physically to your mate. That was important. Guess what it is?
It is so important.
It is important.
I don't think it needs to be the main,
no,
dish,
of course.
right?
And for long hauls, like people like me who are forever monogamy, there's got to be way more to the relationship.
And attraction.
But
is key.
Come on.
Yes.
It's just, yes. And we're wired, we wouldn't be a species continuing to be a species if we weren't getting turned on and being able to continue to have sex. And so that's wired in us. So why would we not allow ourselves to be attracted to someone?
And absolutely.
I'm asking because I did that. And that's for another show.
Yes, exactly. And attraction is, it's in the eye of the beholder, right?
Yeah.
Those are great.
But you guys all think he's really cute when you see him.
Oh my God, I love it. So great.
I'm sorry, but he's totally taken.
He's so cute, and he's so yours. Oh my gosh, amazing.
Thank
well,
you.
listen, I want to acknowledge you for being a bearer of light on this planet, and for being the kind of woman who has done the work, who has gone through, the crucibles that too many of us have gone through, and come out truly like burning so brightly and inspiring others and living your truth and really being a beacon of that. You make such a difference in the world, and I'm grateful that you took the time to be with us on the podcast.
Thank you so much. This was really, really special for me, and I really appreciate it. I shared things with you that I've never actually shared in public.
Well, thank you for being vulnerable.
I felt safe.
Good.
Feels good.
Good. All right, everybody. This has been another episode of The Real Undressed, and I look forward, as always, to see you on the next one. Bye for now.